Welcome to the Chick Foley Show.
What is up, Foley fam? We are back with episode 155 of the Chick Foley Show. That music is hitting especially hard this week. Rumors are swirling that they might bring it back at Wargames on Sunday for what could very well be Johnny Gargano's swan song in NXT, but it's definitely not our swan song for the podcast. We're just getting started, and we'll start this episode by introducing the stars of the show. Sheena, how you doing?
I'm doing good. You kind of bummed me out thinking that could be the last time we see Johnny Gargano, but, not surprising. They're trying to usher in this new era of NXT. So I'm going to try to enjoy our last pay-per-view of 2021, our last WWE pay-per-view of 2021 before we go into day one-ish, So, yeah, it's going to be a good night.
Yeah, for those watching on YouTube, Sheena's looking festive as fuck with the Christmas sweater and the tree in the background. So we're ringing in the season.
Bringing the drip,
Marco, how's life up in Massachusetts, man?
Good. I'm just laughing at that hard F that you dropped. This is a PG friendly.
I know, it's the top of the show. For the love of God, Swaggy, come on.
Yeah, man, you have to turn this down. My son listens to this.
I know.
But no, I'm super excited as well for War Games this Sunday. Actually, so excited that I actually forgot that was a Sunday. So yeah, until they showed the commercial, I was like, holy crap, it is a Sunday. So,
for me, I didn't forget. I knew it was coming, but for some reason I thought it was like next week. I don't know.
Yeah,
the build has kind of like been a little bit crazy, and I just feel like it doesn't feel like this was the go home show before War Games. Other than Braun Breaker saying War Games, that was really the only indication that we were on the road to War Games. But here we are. It's going to be in a few days, so we better get ready.
Hell yeah. Sheena, remind the listeners where they can find you guys on social media.
You can find me on Instagram at Chick Foley, Marco running the Twitter machine over at Chick Foley Show. You can join our Foley fam over on Patreon and in our Facebook community at chickfoleyshow.com. We just posted our 1994 Royal Rumble watch along. It was a lot of fun. That's one of the better Rumbles that we've watched so far. And so super excited. If you're not in there, make sure you get in there and check that out.
Marco, tell us what's new with the Pod Foundation this week.
Obviously, we know that, Turnbuckle Tavern has like 1 million shows, so they run all week long. Definitely catch them. The one I'm most excited about actually is Turnbuckle Sessions this week. They actually interview young Anthony from the Titantron podcast, and I actually had the pleasure of co-starring the Raw Down with him one night because Tom couldn't make it, the OG Fig Kid. I kind of tapped out. You guys probably seen in the group chat. At that time. So it was me and him, and we basically talked wrestling. And he is young Anthony because he's not even old enough to drink. So they try to figure out how he actually got into the tavern. But I think it's pretty cool because they pretty much
checking IDs over at the tavern.
I guess
not trying to get them reported. Marco,
they're gonna get shut down.
They're going to get shut down. They're going to lose their license.
Sorry. He is of age. Sorry, but they actually, one of the cool things is because obviously so young. They talk about how he became a fan of wrestling in the 2000s and how he sees the business as it is.
You're
now,
like, how did that happen? What did you see in the 2000s and mid 2000s that really just brought you into the fold, bro?
I know exactly right. But another cool show, obviously extra cooler, no pun intended. They actually, if you guys listen to it this week, they actually talk about one of the very musical things that happened with the WWF at the time when they used to drop CDs left and right. And you get to find out how much Nick paid for the I think it was the WWF music volumes.
Wow.
I think what was it? Volume let me check.
They got up
there.
WWF
the music. Volume 2, that's what it was.
Yeah. The first one was Full Metal, and then they just kept going. I think they ended up getting up to 8 volumes. Yeah,
and actually they got the idea from the Wrestling Classic. They kind of seen a post from him, and they deep dove into what theme songs got them pumped off of that album. So definitely check out those two episodes and everything else, obviously with the Pod Foundation.
Those are the highlights for this week, though.
Hell yeah, Sheena, you ready to give away some figures?
Let's do it.
All right, so we are giving away the Jax Pacific Camo Carnage China. It's going to one of our lucky Patreon winners. I'll hit the drums, and Sheena will announce the winner.
Trav Walt is the winner. So Trav, make sure you hit us up in the DMs, and then we'll get that sent out to you. So congrats, dude.
Hell yeah. It's kind of funny. I won't give out his actual email address, but he does got degenerate in his email address. So I thought it was a little bit fitting that he came away with the China figure this week. So
Nice.
thanks again to all of the Foley fan members for supporting. And we want to remind you guys to use code Chick Foley to save 10% on all of your orders at Ringside Collectibles. Let's get into the story of the week. All right. So Wargames 2.0. It's going down this weekend. The first NXT special on the new NXT 2.0 regime. Marco, how are you feeling about the overall direction of NXT 2.0 so far?
Let's see. Still kind of getting used to it, the layout and stuff like that. Obviously it's been like a few months already that's been in existence.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just because there's so much new talent there, and pretty much every week you're seeing like a new vignette of someone that's going to debut at some point, which isn't bad, but it kind of like brings me back to I was actually watching the Ruthless Aggression because the season two's out. In the last episode, they talk about OVW, and how it was pretty much all new guys like Batista, John Cena, Randy Orton, all those guys. So like, I kind of look at like NXT 2.0 kind of like that, like these it's a new crop of stars, but they're all going to have the potential at some point to become superstars on the main roster. So I don't get like too like discouraged by that, but I think it's just more or less like learning about new individuals every single week. They do have their NXT 2.0 guys and gals that are already on there, but then like obviously there's always these vignettes that are popping up with new people that are going to show up. So I mean, and another thing is the roster doesn't seem like it's as deep as it was before. Um, so that kind of takes me out of it a little bit. But I think them having a smaller roster actually helps out a little bit because you get to know the people that are on there now, and then like the people that are going to come in eventually. So, I mean, as of right now, I'll give them a let's see, like a B minus, we'll say, as
Okay.
far as the
That's a
far as the
pretty high
show goes.
score.
It
I was gonna say
I,
C, but
I this Sunday will be the first time I'm really getting to dive in with the new direction. I started a new work schedule right around the time the NXT 2.0 started. So I've been working nights every Tuesday pretty much since this thing rolled out. So I haven't had a chance to watch a lot of it. I've been catching up and keeping up with what's going on, but I haven't been able to tune in as close as I'd like. Braun Breaker obviously caught my eye as the real blue chipper down there right now, but it's been so many people debuting that it's kind of hard to keep up. So I'm looking forward to really sitting down and seeing what some of these new guys have in the tank on Sunday. It kind of reminds me of almost like FCW, like the pre NXT days, where it's much more of a developmental feel. It feels smaller in a way. Obviously this next pay per view is going to be down at the Performance Center. It's not going to be in a big arena the week of a big show.
yeah.
So it feels almost like a throwback to FCW, which if that ends up leading into the OG days of NXT, I'll be good with it because I'm still bummed that the NXT of 2014 and 2015 is no more because that was some of my
Yeah.
favorite wrestling ever.
You all right, Marco? You need some Sudafed?
Yeah,
You all right,
a little
Bubba?
bit.
One other thing
He's
to
sad.
note.
He's sniffling. He can see the tear running down his eye. He's a little sad.
The actual takeover line is now gone. It's just War Games. We'd heard that rumored that takeovers weren't going to be anymore. They were just going to name whatever the show is, and that appears to have
That's
come
sad.
to fruition. As this one's just War Games. Sheena, kind of what's your take on takeover being gone?
It's a bummer. I mean, again, all good things must come to an end, and I definitely think they're just really trying to erase all traces of the former NXT. Not erase, I guess, but just kind of move on from them. I guess is what I should say. And taking the takeover moniker with them would really kind of be dragging because then you're gonna, then you really put yourself in a position to compare to some of the greatest wrestling matches that we've seen in WWE because it'll be like, oh, what's your favorite takeover match? And then it's like we have this just like laundry list of amazing takeover matches. Well, now we're kind of moving into a new era where I feel like it's going to be a while before we have those like 5-star classics that we've gotten with several takeovers in the past. So I think they're kind of wanting to remove themselves from that so that, they can kind of rebuild, what was it? A redesign, rebuild, reclaim their own
I hadn't even thought
brand.
about
So
that with the new kind of target for what NXT is going to be, just to avoid the comparisons. That's
yeah.
actually a really good
Yeah.
take. I hadn't even considered that. That makes a lot of sense. You kind of mentioned it, Sheen. What is your all-time favorite takeover match?
Excuse me, I just took a sip of my brew. Well, I mean, there's obviously like the Bailey and Sasha match, and I love the Andrade
There goes Sheena. She's
match.
going to name off like the top 5 or
Well,
6. So
no,
it's just
I think
repetitive when the rest of us get on
we've
here.
talked about, no, I'm not trying to do that. That is my gimmick, but we've
What
talked
is your
about those
favorite
matches
takeover match?
so many times on the show that I feel like I was going to try to pick something a little bit different because those were my two
Okay.
obvious ones.
So now
But
if me and Marco pick those ones, we're gonna
yeah,
sound like
you
a
need to think, you need to
jabroni.
dig a little deeper. Well, you can go ahead. You can talk about Philly. I know you love that match.
What's your
But
favorite takeover match?
Gargano. I was gonna say Gargano versus Ciampa, the unsanctioned match in New York, Takeover New
That's a good
York. I
one.
think it was like the first time they really got to dig their teeth into each other after that like long waiting period where it was just this like building and building and building and waiting, because the turn happened and then it was just like this long period where they were apart. And when they finally came together, it was just they met so many times
I
after
think it was New
that,
Orleans.
but
Was it New York or was it New
New
Orleans when they
York,
had the
New York,
unsanctioned match? Okay.
yeah. And I just feel like that was one of the I think that might have been their best match. And they had some bangers, but I feel like that may have been their best one that they had of their series. So yeah, it kicked off this just epic feud in NXT. And yeah, that's probably the one I'm gonna go with. Sorry to like, steal all you guys' thunder off the jump.
It's all good. Marco, what about you, man? What's your all-time favorite?
I don't know if I can answer now because she
Oh,
took
come
all the
on,
matches
bro.
away.
There's 50 amazing takeover matches, and we briefly tapped on 3 of them. So
Yeah, no, one of my favorites. Obviously, I'm not sure if this guy's still canceled or anything like that, but I always go back to Aleister Black or Malachi Black if you guys are watching AEW and Velveteen Dream. Uh,
yeah,
that
That was
match
a good
was
one.
that match was amazing. The whole storyline with him trying to make Velveteen trying to make um, Malachi Black or Aleister Black say his name, and he would never say his name until spoiler alert, the end of the match when he sits in a crisscross applesauce and says Velveteen. He actually says his name. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of my go to matches there.
That was
Definitely love that one.
Takeover Houston in
Yep.
2018, right? I think that was a War Game show. It was in Houston though. So in case
Yeah.
anybody's going back to try to find these matches on Peacock. For me, there's so many to pick from. Yeah, Sheena kind of touched on it. The Johnny Gargano versus Andrade match from Takeover Philadelphia. I think that was the best takeover. Also, that also featured Aleister Black and Adam Cole in their Extreme Rules match. And I just think that's one of besides Roman and Brock at WrestleMania 31, I think Gargano and Andrade at TakeOver Philadelphia is the second best match of the WWE modern era from 2014 on
Huh.
up. I love that match. It had so many twists and turns, and then it ended with the angle with Ciampa coming back and turning heel on Gargano to set up their match at WrestleMania weekend that year. So hell
Yeah.
of a match, and it's one of my all-time favorites. That's what makes me say that Andrade should be a future AEW champion. Now that he's looks to be through with his feud with Cody finally. But we'll talk about that a little bit
So,
later on.
real quick, I have to do a little SGG action on myself. After I said New York and you said New Orleans, I was like, well, maybe it was New Orleans. So I had to like pull up the Google machine, and apparently it was New Orleans. So,
Totally understandable, because at the next Takeover Brooklyn in August, they had a last man standing match that was very similar to the unsanctioned match. It was basically like the sequel to that when they called back a lot of spots. Like I wasn't really for sure either. I couldn't remember which one was last man standing, which one was unsanctioned, because those guys had so many just straight up barroom brawls where they went
yeah,
all over the
yeah.
arena.
I mean, another good match too was the was Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano as well.
Where
That was
Gargano finally got the belt. Yeah.
yeah.
That
I
was
mean,
great.
he's not called Johnny Takeover for nothing.
Oh yeah, no,
And
yeah.
Yeah, the match
he's
that
the man, the
Gargano
myth, the
won
legend.
where he became champ was awesome, and then the one where Cole beat him at the very next takeover to get the belt, that one was good too. That's the one where
Yeah.
Cole caused a distraction because he acted like he was signaling for Undisputed Era to come back, and Gargano
Yep.
got caught off guard for a sec. Like, yeah, I thought that was cool because for so long every Adam Cole match, it was like a classic Ric Flair match with the Horsemen. You were kind of just sitting around waiting for the interference to happen before you really knew things were going to kick into high gear. It's definitely a turning point in NXT right now. If you follow the ratings for whatever that's worth nowadays, they have been down. At least as far as the television ratings goes, the new direction has not been a success. Kind of big picture, Marco, what do you think about the future of NXT right now, man? Is it still going to be viable 1 year, 2 year, 3 years down the road?
Oh man, it's tough to say. I mean, the only thing I can think of is that they're not taking. I don't want to say they're not taking it seriously, but they're not. You know, they're not like. I don't think they're really looking at like ratings and stuff for NXT 2.0 to be like that. You know, like to like a ratings like killer. Essentially, it's gonna. There's all new people on it. There's some people some people you don't like. Pretty much all the major stars are gone. Obviously, with Adam Cole being gone over to AEW. I don't. I think it will still be around. And like you mentioned before, it's going to be developmental. I don't think I think they remove if they remove that WWE banner from it, they don't have to worry about obviously like on the business side, the investors and the advertisers and all that stuff. It is what it is. It depends on how they pitch NXT 2.0, which is kind of like a newer version of NXT.
Right.
So I don't see it being gone. I still see it being seen as a developmental. It might be taken off of USA at some point.
I was going to say I don't see it being televised here in
network exclusive. Yeah,
mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it'll probably end up like that, and then end up on like Hulu, like NXT was like in the beginning days when it wasn't on national TV or cable TV. But I don't think it will go away. I think it will just be slowly but quietly removed from cable television.
I think a way they could rejuvenate it, they could kill two birds with one stone. We've mentioned this before, talking like incorporate it into the draft, like when the draft happens, use it like an actual professional sports draft. Like instead of pick it and just having the people swap shows or whatever, like have somebody go in like, SmackDown's got the number one pick this year because let's say they won Survivor Series. Here you go. We'll kill three birds with one stone. All right. They won Survivor Series. So they get the first pick in the draft and they're taking Braun Breaker. And he doesn't got to get caught up right away, but just like anytime he's coming out on NXT, have a little graphic there, say, hey, in a future SmackDown prospect, and that would give some credibility to the guys down in NXT. And it would also, be a hook for people that may just watch the main roster. If they find out, oh crap, the dude that's the NXT champ right now is going to be coming to SmackDown soon. Like I know he's coming up to SmackDown. Let me start watching him so I can figure out who this guy is.
Yeah.
I'm with Sheena though. I got a lot of doubts about how much longer it's on USA. I don't know how many years the contract was for, but it seems like it's not doing great. It already had to switch nights because AEW was just taking it to the woodshed each week.
Yeah, I think I also think since like Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard are, the guys pretty much running NXT 2.0 now and not Triple H. I think you'll actually see that NXT bleed into the main roster. Like you'll actually hear Michael Cole and all the announcers actually talk about NXT if they do bring
their accomplishments in NXT will actually finally be brought to the main roster because they were developed by Vince. I can
by
totally
Vince McMahon. Yeah, so like obviously Triple H isn't around anymore, and I think they kind of like getting rid of Takeover, kind of like was kind of getting rid of whatever Triple H built in that sense. So if you take that away, it's just like a Vince McMahon product essentially. Now, like I think you'll hear more of NXT 2.0 on the main roster. Like you said, if Braun Breaker does show up at Royal Rumble, like oh my god,
they're keeping the Braun Breaker gimmick. They're not just gonna start calling him Braun or Breaker on the main roster. Yeah. They're not gonna totally strip him of his gimmick and his ring gear and everything. They're gonna bring him up as a completed package thing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that since he's already like in their vision or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get to some picks. Sheena, I'll let you go first. Who is going to win the men's War Game match? Team Black and Gold or Team 2.0?
So, I mean, my heart, my black heart is telling me that like Team Black and Gold would just wipe the floor with these freaking jabrones. You know what I mean? Like these are the new guys in town. These guys are seasoned veterans. I mean, LA Knight, he like one of these things is not like the other. You know what I mean? Like we've seen just like the 5-star classics from Pete Dunne and Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, but LA Knight, whatever, he's in there. But I feel like, from what we know of what's going on and the direction that they're headed with NXT 2.0, that they're going to let these noobs get in there and freaking get the win over these guys. So unfortunately, against my black heart, I'm going to pick Team 2.0. I'm rooting for Team Black and Gold, but I just have this gut feeling that they're going to let 2.0 win this one, or 2.0 is going to win this one, I should say.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely built to that. I don't see any way that the old timers, if you will, come away with the victory in this one. Marco, what about for the ladies? Is it going to be Toxic Attraction or Team EO and Raquel? They don't really got a catchy name on their side.
Again, it's gonna go kind of to the new blood on this. I think Toxic Attraction is gonna take it. I mean, obviously it's not just Toxic Attraction. It's I think Dakota Kai is as well in this too. So and is it Kaylee Ray?
Yeah, Kaylee Ray's on the babyface team.
Yeah. Oh, actually, no. Yeah, that's right. Kaylee Ray's on the babyface. Yeah.
It's the most slapped
I'm gonna go with
together
Toxic.
team. Yeah.
It is the most slapped together, and I think this is going to be bad. I think this is bad news for Toxic Attraction. Even if they win, I think this is going to expose them because they have no business being in a match of this magnitude. Like say what you will, Mandy Rose has improved, all that, but
I feel like Mandy Rose can do no wrong. I say push her to the top, man.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. But
what do you think, Marco?
Yeah.
I mean the other two, because they've they've been in the independents. The other two in Toxic Attraction, so they definitely can be in the. They could definitely do this match. I think you're more pushing towards Mandy Rose, who she seems like she doesn't fit in this type of in this match at all. If you look at the ladies that are in it,
the history of the ladies,
Mandy
and then you
Rose
got people that have so much experience, like Raquel Gonzalez. You got
Io Shirai.
You got Kaylee Ray. Cora Jade's kind of she's kind of like the LA Knight of the bunch, But it's you still got these three hard hitters, and then you got this one outlier, and I just. If it was real, and breaking kayfabe real quick, if things weren't predetermined, there's no way that Raquel, Io, and Kaylee Ray would not just wipe the absolute floor with freaking Toxic Attraction plus Dakota Kai. And no shade to Dakota Kai, because Dakota Kai can work, right? But she's stuck with the freaking the IG models. So I just it's not for me.
Shame on you. Mandy Rose is your NXT Women's Champion. She's had awesome storylines with
my
Otis.
champion.
She was Rose Gold with Goldust in the mixed match challenge. Yeah,
exactly.
All hail Mandy Rose.
And you just made my point for me. She was in great storylines with Otis. She was Rose Gold. She was she had a little stint for a little while with Eva Marie, where it was like red and gold or whatever it was called. Like
that was a thing. I don't even remember that.
That was way back in the day. That was
okay.
That was way. That was on Eva Marie's first run. You know what I mean?
I mean, she had that the match with Sonya Deville. That
the hair versus it was going to be a hair versus hair match or something like that, but then they scrapped it. Yeah,
and it became it was basically Sonya Deville's last match. That was actually a really good match.
There's a place, like Mandy Rose has her place. She definitely fits the mold of like the WWE typical like women's wrestler. You know what I mean? Like the
Divas era is back, baby.
The Divas era. That's what I was going for. The
what
Divas
was her
era.
And Sonya? Oh yeah, Fire and Desire. Yeah, that was her and Sonya's tag team.
Fire and Desire. Yeah.
Yeah, you never even got to see Sonya. You just saw this little like fuzzy blob over in the corner, like punching things. Mandy. All the focus was on Mandy Rose because she had that weird entrance where it was just like focal point, and then poor Sonya Deville was over there, like looking like a freaking interrogation video where they were trying to block her out.
Let's have a drink to Mandy Rose.
Man.
All right, Sheena, what are you sipping on this week?
Okay, so I know my buddy Matt over at the Extra Cooler Show, I'm probably going to let him down because I literally just grabbed the first thing that I saw in the beer cooler as we were setting up. It's really good, though. You know, I wish I had some like really amazing explanation for what it is, but it's called Sycamore, or it's by Sycamore, and it's called Tangy Land IPA. It's really good. It's got a really pretty can. It's like, if you guys can see on the camera, it's not really coming through, but it's like this like
It's
pastel pink and got
galactic.
like, yeah, got these little asteroid hops, you know, and little solar hops all everywhere. Like everything is kind of like, you know, space themed. But I don't really see a description on the can, but it's freaking delicious.
It's a citrusy IPA.
Oh yeah, the dank side of the moon. The stars are hops, cones, and the sun as a dazzling ruby grapefruit. Meteors of glowing citrus rain down. Orange aliens bask. Okay, this is getting way too spacey for me. But yeah, lots of citrus.
Yeah, I decided to keep it hardcore this week. I'm drinking out of my currently one of one Foley fam steel tumbler. So still kind of on the fence. I'm gonna see how the drinks go down in this tonight, and we may make this available to purchase. But I'm drinking a 7 Up and Basil Hayden, a double shot, so a little bourbon tonight to help kick off the weekend. Marco, what are you
Oh
drinking?
man, going hard tonight.
Mhm.
Picked up a new beer, and actually, when I picked up this new beer, there's a lot of obviously, I'm in New England. There's tons of different breweries, and now all these local breweries are starting to put out these Christmas themed IPAs and stuff like that. And I actually picked up one, and I think it's like, I think it's almost like 12% alcohol.
Oh
This
my
beer,
god!
so I can't wait to try it out. Well, when you get more towards Christmas, I'll bring it out. But I picked this one up because of the can first and foremost, the artwork. If you are a '90s person,
I can't see it. There's a
Is that
glare.
Norm Macdonald? Dirty Work.
yeah. So you ever see Dirty Work? You ever see that
Yeah.
movie? So the beer is actually called Dirty Work, um, and it's by Odd Nature Brewing.
Okay.
Um, it's a dry hopped lager. It's
Hmm.
only it's about 6% alcohol, but I actually the can alone, and R.I.P. obviously Norm Macdonald who passed away. Um, yeah, this I had to pick it. Dirty Work was one of my favorite movies, comedies of pretty much of all time. It's one of the funniest movies. If you've never seen it, definitely go and find it. I'm not sure where you can find it now because I'm not sure if it's on any streaming services, but yeah, no, it's pretty tasty. I'll tell you that much. But yeah,
That's from Massachusetts.
it's Maine. Yeah,
Okay,
there's like Maine is
same
like
thing.
Maine.
riddled with breweries.
All
I
right,
think there's different states.
let's get into the I call Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire. That's all just like one big blob to me, man. Up in the
Yeah, I know. It's like
Northeast.
just the Northeast.
I mean,
Those, yeah,
I wouldn't say that verbiage around
those
these
bougie
parts.
Northeastern states.
All right, let's get into the Royal Rumble. Sheena, you're gonna start it off. Cody going through the flaming table last night and somehow pinning Andrade, even though Cody's the one that went through the fire. Was it Botchamania or was it This Is Awesome?
This is
I mean,
awesome.
obviously, anytime you see a bunch of flames in the middle of the ring, your immediate thought is like, whoa, this is awesome. But when the person on the other end of the flames is Brandy Rhodes, it kind of makes it more of a botchamania. Like she took like way too long to put the fuel on the table. She was spraying way too much fuel. It just, I don't know. It was botchamania. Then Cody goes through the table, right? He's the one that goes through the flaming table. Somehow still has the wherewithal to pin Andrade. Like, what was the point of setting the table on fire if you were going to go through it? You know, like, made zero sense to me. It was a botch for me.
Can't disrespect the hardcore legend Cody
I
Rhodes like
agree.
that.
I
I'll be
talked to the two
damned.
bad chads last night on our Pod Foundation group chat, and I said, AEW's got to hire a stunt coordinator. They do everything else excellent. The high spots, they always find a way to botch them. Whether it's Jericho taking the 20-foot fall through the cardboard, obviously the
Barbed
disaster
wire
was the
match.
exploding barbed wire death match, and then this latest one, yeah, like I don't know, I don't know what the deal was, but yeah, it definitely looked awkward. And like you said, the visual was really cool, so it kind of just took away from it, but
Yeah.
It's Cody. It happened on Cody Island, so it doesn't really affect
He
anything else
knew.
that's
I
going
mean, the
on.
thing is
So
he knew he was going to go through this like flaming table because he had this like fuel or this flame retardant like painted all over his back, you know. And I'm like, well, did Andrade have the flame retardant? Because wouldn't that make more sense if you were trying to put Andrade through the table that he would have the the flame grease or whatever it was,
I
like.
mean,
or
You
you'd
I
be
don't
the
think
one
it
that's
really
going to lose the
worked.
match, if you're the one that's going through the fire. So, like, I don't know. It
Yeah.
was after seeing what Bray Wyatt did in that the Inferno match. Like, yeah, this anything else is going to pale in a comparison for a
You
while. So,
wanted Cody to just like drop a match on a fuel engulfed Andrade.
I mean,
yeah,
did you
and then
see? Did you see
Yeah.
Did you see his back? That whatever that flame retardant stuff did not work.
did
It
not
like
do
Well,
its
I
job.
mean,
it
Yeah,
melted on his back.
let's be real. I mean, anytime you're just gonna like paint chemicals on your back and then fall through a fire, I mean, it's
Yeah, it's
probably
gonna.
not gonna end well.
I mean,
Like I
Andrade was
said,
the one in a shirt for most of the match. They could have just had him in some special flame retardant shirt, and he could have took
it
the
just
Like
lit
bullet.
him on
Remember
fire.
Randy Orton when they were doing the flame match? Like he was
Yeah, he
wearing like
wrestled in a
that like
shirt.
long
Yeah,
sleeved like
Yeah, I mean, like
shirt.
I
yeah.
said,
So,
he's
all
a
right.
hardcore legend now, so you can't talk
No.
bad about Cody.
I'm sure
Wow.
Add that to his resume.
the ringside collectibles exclusive is already in
The
works.
blood
So
and
Oh,
use
it's
guts,
yeah,
blood
use
and
code.
guts,
yeah.
Well,
Cody.
this is going to be the Fire and Flames, Cody. So
Yeah, it's
you
La
already
Flama Roads.
use
Yeah,
code
ringside
Chick Foley to
exclusive La
save
Flama Roads is coming.
He set
use
fire
code
to
Chick
the
Foley to
rain.
save 10% on that one. All right, Marco, you're up next. Daniel Bryan versus Adam Page has been officially announced for AEW Dynamite. Winter is coming. From 1 to 10, what are Daniel Bryan's chances of taking the belt on Hangman's first defense?
Man, I mean, I think his chances are really great. I mean, I don't think they're not bad at all. Um, Especially the way. I mean, the only thing that can really hinder him is the amount of matches he's been putting on every single week. Like he literally wrestles every week, so his body has some wear to it. So maybe that's going to give Hangman the advantage in that sense because he hasn't wrestled as much. Just like Daniel Bryan said, he's not a defending champion. He sits on commentary. He's hanging out. He's drinking beer. He's not defending his title. So that's what's
Yeah.
going to save his title when they do battle.
So what was it? What was the number you put on it?
What do you mean?
1 to 10?
Oh, 1 to 10. I'm gonna
1
give
to 10
him
is
a
Daniel Bryan taking it.
I'm gonna give him a 7.5.
Okay.
We'll go with
Strong,
that.
strong odds for
That
Marco.
is strong
All right,
odds.
Sheena,
And you know me, I love Daniel Bryan.
you're up next. WWE is debuting their day one pay-per-view this year coming up on New Year's Day. This is a concept that New Japan's used for a while. They always have their New Year's Dash, not necessarily on New Year's Day, but right there in the first
Yeah.
week of the year to kind of set the table for the new shows. What do you think of WWE bringing this concept to the States?
I think it's cool. I think it's going to be cool this year because it's going to be actually on New Year's Day, right? It's going to be on that Saturday. But I was thinking it would only be able to be called day one for the next 2 years because it would be on Saturday and then it would be on Sunday, right? So then the following year, like they're not going to have a pay-per-view on a Monday. But I just feel like if you can't have it on the first day of the month, you can't call it day one. So I think it's kind of a limited concept in my eyes because it's not day one.
Well, the thing is, I mean, New Year's Day is always a federal holiday, so you could have it just in the middle of the week. You don't have to have the pay-per-view on Saturday or Sunday. We've seen that with the Saudi shows. So you could still do a pay-per-view on New Year's Day every year.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
I'm a fan. I like it. Instead, I like it, especially because we're not getting a December pay-per-view from WWE. So instead of just having a meaningless throwaway show that goes down the week before Christmas, now we got something to really this could be the show to set the table for the Rumble and really be like the official kickoff of Mania season. So I'm down. I like it, and I'm excited to see where they go from that. Hopefully we see Seth Rollins take back the WWE Championship.
I'm not sure that's going to happen now with KO being in the mix there.
KO's there to take. I think KO's there to take the fall, man, and then Big E can go back into face mode. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
It's a possibility. Yeah. Actually, I'm not even sure what's going to happen because actually that day is my our wedding anniversary on January 1st. So I mean, I'm gonna have to skip dinner and watch some day one. Sorry,
I'm sure the wife will be thrilled.
Or watch it while we're at dinner. So that'll work out. Dinner.
I don't know what I was
one.
thinking you were gonna say. Watch it while you were, and I was like, in my mind, I was immediately like,
No, watch it. Watch it during dinner and dinner and day one. That's what we're gonna have that day. So yeah,
sounds like a nice anniversary.
All right, it is Thursday, December 2nd as we're recording this. This is the official 1-year anniversary of Sting debuting in AEW. Marco, how would you rate Sting's first year in All Elite Wrestling?
Man, I would rate it pretty high. I'll definitely give it maybe like a 9.5, maybe 10. Mainly because obviously he's older. He's an older man now. He can't go too crazy, but the amount of action that he has been doing throughout the year, it's been pretty exciting every time he stepped into the ring. And there were some scary bumps that he took. From the younger guys, but I think it's been really awesome just seeing him and like the way he's been pacing himself. And I kind of wish Undertaker, when he was around, actually had that kind of like pacing instead of doing like these crazy high spot matches. He maybe just showed up, did kind of like that, maybe like took someone under his wing, kind of like Sting did, and kind of like pace himself out that way.
Yeah,
maybe we would have him a little bit longer, but
they kind of teased him and Aleister Black like forming a relationship like that, but it never really went anywhere. That one pay-per-view, I think it was Extreme Rules 2019 when him and Roman teamed up, like that was fun. So yeah, I think this is definitely a good model
what
for
was
people
it called, like the
for
Grave
legends
Dogs
who
or
still got a little bit
something?
in the tank. The Graveyard Dogs, I think was the name of it.
I think it was Graveyard Dogs.
Yeah, so I think Sting's been used perfectly. At the show we went to a couple weeks back, he was definitely one of the most over people of the night. So he still got it with the fans, and people still
it's
got a
always
lot of
cool
love
being
for Sting.
And I don't think he's trying to do too much. I think that's what's been so cool about Sting. Like he kind of knows his place in the totem pole. You know what I mean? Like he knows he's got that legacy pool and I guess I should say the legends pool. But he's not trying to like get out there and be one of the young guys. You know what I mean? Like he knows what he's doing, and I think it's been great since he's been back in AEW.
Yeah, he's an attraction. He's a marquee act. So yeah, bring him out when you need him. When you need the big guns, you bring him out, and he does his work, and then he takes a step back for a little bit.
And I'm glad they stopped giving him the mic so much, because when he first started getting there and they were giving him the mic all the time, I was like, this is not the spot for you. Like maybe take a step back. So now he's just kind of like a, more of an enforcer and just an energy shifter, if you will.
All right, Sheen, you got to try the new Popeyes mac and cheese tonight. How was it?
It was good. It's like a baked style mac and cheese, really thick, really heavy. It's like the type of mac and cheese we've discussed it on the show before, where it can be a meal all in and of itself. Like it's just like a single item meal. It was good. The particular batch that I had needed a little bit more salt, but other than that, it was a win. Super creamy, had the little baked cheese crust along the top. So I give it a high praise.
Yeah, I only had a couple bites, but it was pretty decent. That's it for the Royal Rumble. Let's get into some action figure talk. All right, the Figure 4 is brought to you by Ringside Collectibles. Again, use code Chick Foley to save 10% on all your purchases at Ringside. The Cyber Monday sale is going down right now, so there is a ton of figures to be had for the cheap, and Black Friday 2.0 kicks off tomorrow. So again, perfect time to get caught up on any figures that you may have missed out on. Let's start with the huge news. Cella Toys is bringing back the bone crunching action figures. So they've already got the first 2 series planned. If you have any of their retro style figures that they've dropped recently, here's Nick Aldis right here. They have been killing it with these. Cannot wait to see what they do with this bone crunching line. Marco, you hyped up for this?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I was actually, when they made that announcement, they actually tagged the Chick Foley account and pretty much all their announcements. So I actually seen it right when it hit. And there's a lot of questions following it, like who's going to be in it. A lot of people want want Anvil to pop up, but I guess they responded back saying that's probably not going to happen. He's kind of out of that line for the time being anyway. But who knows? It could happen in the future. But yeah, it seems like there's a lot of excitement around it. And, it's so weird. You have Cella doing the bone. It's called bone crushing action, and then you have the major bros doing the bendums. It's like
1996 all over again.
It's like it's like the 90s again. It's it's crazy.
Yeah, we just need somebody to bring back the LJNs full-fledged, like a straight up line of
Oh
them,
man,
which Cella may do that next. They seem to be very ambitious, so I'm hyped
Maybe we
for
can
it.
do Chick Foley show LJNs, you know?
Yeah,
yeah.
there you go.
What would your
Uh,
pose be?
I'd go
I
with the
don't know.
Greg Valentine pose, man. The fist back and the arm out. I always felt like that one was the most. That was also the Ultimate Warrior figure pose. I felt like that was the most playable. You know, you could do clotheslines,
Yeah,
you could do body slams, all kinds of stuff you could do with that pose. Um, Yeah, very cool. Cannot wait to see what they do with that. I'm planning as soon as I wrap up going back and collecting all the WCW Galoobs, I plan on turning to Bone Crunchers next. So it'll be a lot of fun if it kind of lines up with when Cella starts rolling theirs out. The other big news this week, it was a little unclear what was going to happen with these. Elite 92 is
Yeah,
releasing
this is
as
cool.
planned. So we're still getting the
yeah.
crispy fried fiend and Adam Cole in the
That's
gray
excellent news.
camo. Sheena, what's
Yeah.
your thought on Elite 92?
I'm stoked, man. I was really bummed about missing out on that crispy fried fiend. It was just going to be such a unique toyetic figure, and the fact that we're still getting it is epic. And you know we've needed the Adam Cole to complete the Undisputed Era camo collection. So yeah, both of these are a win. I'm excited to add them to the collection.
You guys are gonna call me crazy. I'm actually think I may be passing on the gray camo Adam Cole. You know, I'd already kind of
How are
resigned
you going to say
myself.
that? You've literally been like bitching about that figure for
I know,
months and months and months,
I
Wow.
dude.
know. I had basically resigned myself that we weren't going to get it. Like it just wasn't going to happen. And since then, I kind of wrapped my mind around and kind of liked having my Adam Cole in the black and yellow, and then the other three, you know, his three backups in Undisputed Era and the gray camo, you know, to kind of set him apart a little bit. So I had him on
Yeah,
display with our figure display last month, and it looked pretty cool with him in the black and the other three in the gray camo because they still matched, even though it wasn't a perfect match. So
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll
yeah.
see how I feel once it's in stock and you know it's right there at my fingertips. But I'm still kind of up in the air if I'm going to add it or not. Maybe I'll get it and
Yeah.
I'll
Been
just
actually,
have both.
The only
yeah.
other cool figure I think from that line is the Scarlet for sure. I think the Scarlet is I mean, I don't really love the face scan on the Charlotte or
E.
Scarlet. But the green gear and the like freaking cat claws and the crown and everything and the little like Jeffrey Campbell style boots, like those are
Yeah,
it's just
Yeah,
looks awesome.
a lot of unique tooling. I'm a big fan of that Scarlet figure as well.
yeah.
I
They're
hope this means we're still going to get Karrion Cross in the like gladiator style attire since he was kind of in the
um.
same boat as Adam Cole and Fiend. One thing to know
Go
about
ahead
that
and give it to us, Mattel, so that in a few months when you actually do release it, Seth can be like, you know what? I'm gonna
I
pass
don't want
on it.
it.
I don't
Yeah,
really want
it's
it.
yeah.
Nah,
I
it's
thought I
not for
wanted it,
me.
but
It's a no from me, dog. I just want my
um,
Scarlet all by herself.
yeah. I've seen a lot of negative reviews so far on the Scarlet face scan.
Well, I mean,
Um,
nothing's gonna look. I mean, let's be real. Scarlet is a freaking, she's a stunner, dude. Like she's just one of those
yeah,
people that, I don't know how she looks under all that makeup. I don't know if I've really ever seen her without all of that. But
I don't think I've ever
she's
seen her
definitely got
either.
that very made up, like, Playboy
Yeah,
Bunny
the
esque look.
and,
the
and all,
top
yeah.
comment on the IG post right now from Ringside says, "Nice Angelina Jolie figure."
Wow.
But another one I seen that people were kind of giving shit for was a crispy fried fiend. A lot of people don't like how it looks. Some people were saying it looked bad. It
I
was
think it
just like
looks
an awful
awesome,
looking
man.
I think it
figure.
looks awesome, dude.
I mean,
I
I don't
mean,
know what they were expecting. I think that figure looks outstanding,
I
man.
think it looks exactly like he looked whenever he
Yeah,
came out. I don't know.
I
I
agree.
mean, the
But yeah,
arms, they've got like the Freddy Krueger style, like burned flesh. The face is all like, that toxic Avenger face. Like dude, it's money, dude. Like it
we
looks
just
so
need
good.
we need that rant. We need Randy to. We need that Randy in that gear with
Yeah.
the long
The
sleeves and the
the long
shorts.
sleeves and stuff.
The one thing to know about that Charlotte figure, it's not the most spectacular looking Charlotte on its surface, but that figure actually has it's basically an Ultimate Edition. It has the same articulation as the Ultimate Edition. So just something to
Really?
know if you're looking for custom stuff. Yeah, people were kind of dissecting it and stuff and looking at it. If you look, you can actually see it's got the toe
I
articulation
was
and
gonna say
everything.
I can see the toes.
And I think it's got the
Uh,
increased torso. It's got the double the double jointed elbows. So yeah,
really? They're really
yeah.
trying to keep her on
I
a
know, right?
contract,
Yeah, so
Yeah.
pretty cool set. Like I said, I'm very glad we're getting crispy fried fiend, and that gives me hope for a couple of the other figures that have are in the works of people that have since been released, which is those are starting to pile up a little bit. More ringside news. The ringside exclusive Undertaker from his run as WCW Tag Team Champion with his brother Kane. That is officially up for pre-order now. That's the one that's it's got you can bring the straps down, Kurt Angle style. Marco, what's your thoughts on this figure, man? You adding this one to your collection?
Yeah, I'm an Undertaker Mark, so no pun intended. His name is Mark. Yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna get this. I mean, one of my collections I have running is ringside exclusive, so this was a definite pre-order for me, along with the Darby Allin coffin drop edition.
Oh yeah, I want that. I want that soft goods body bag, man. I am probably gonna pass on this. I've never been a fan of this era of Undertaker, but it is pretty cool. We're getting that WCW Tag Team belt, and that's the first time we've gotten that. Before we get into weekly purchases, let's hear from the two bad Chads at the Turnbuckle Tavern.
Drop by and visit the Turnbuckle Tavern, where every Thursday we give you the most in-depth analysis of all things AEW, as well as dive into Impact Wrestling, NWA, and all things indie.
If you like heated debates, compelling interviews, and a shot of nostalgia, you'll love the Turnbuckle Tavern. Available on Apple and Spotify.
Drink it in. It always goes down smooth.
All right, Marco, what did you add to your collection this week?
Nothing too crazy, but just to add some more news, if you guys want to see what the Super 7 major wrestling figure podcast figures look like, just head over to they might be on their Instagram, but on Twitter they actually got the final figures in with the packaging and everything, so you can actually go see what they look like.
Oh yeah, they're on Instagram too.
So
I saw the boxes earlier. They had posted the boxes, but they was just like the box that had their name on them. Yeah,
so
they look good, dude.
Yeah, they look really good.
The back. Did you see the backdrop? You can actually take out the thing, and it turns into like they each have their own individual like cardboard
like entrance
belt.
stage type thing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
Hopefully that means
so. Assuming,
I'm really excited to get these.
Yeah.
I like the street gear, like they got their ring gear, and I like their the little hats and the major bros mics and the little action figures. Like, yeah, that's freaking dope.
Did you guys do the Good Brothers as well, or just the?
I pre-ordered the Good Brothers, but I'm thinking I might end up passing on those, man. I might end up canceling that pre-order. The Mattel did such a great job on the Elite Good Brothers that I think I'm kind of all set on those guys. So I was actually looking at that this evening, thinking about canceling that pre-order and just taking that money and putting it towards like maybe some WCW Galoobs or something.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I didn't pre-order those, but I was just asking if you did. But only got one thing in. Still waiting for my last of the AEW packs. So I got the
nice,
the ill-fated. Hangman and Omega tag team.
Pretty cool. That would look great autographed, man.
Yeah, so I actually,
especially knowing like how epic their rivalry ended up being. Like, yeah, if you get that autograph, that would be tremendous.
Yeah, I mean, obviously if you want to be nitpicky, it's Hangman with the long tights, not the short tights, so the trunks. Yeah. So yeah, because on the back. They have the picture of him in the trunks.
You could probably carefully open up and do a fig swap, swap in like Series 2 Hangman.
Yeah, you could, because you can actually pop off the legs and you can actually switch them. But yeah, so Omega's accurate, Hangman isn't, but it's definitely an awesome set. And I think the next in line, which I'm, according to Amazon, which I'm getting, is the Darby Allin Moxley 2-pack. So that should be on its way either next week or the week after. So I'm stoked for that.
That set was really cool, even though it was a repack. The only thing I think it would have been pretty cheap to throw in if they should have thrown the accessory, how Darby had the paper bag with Mox's face on it over it. You know what I mean? Like the Mox cardboard mask and stuff. That would have been an awesome accessory just to differentiate a little bit.
Yeah.
We added two things to the collection. I'll go first. Right here, I have the head of Scott Steiner. So I picked up some pretty sweet Elite Steiner Brother customs over the summer off eBay. The Rick Steiner was pretty much perfect. The Scott Steiner, I was never totally in love with. It was pretty good, but I felt like we could do better. So we hit up the Warsman, Warren Warsman on Instagram. He's basically like the number one guy for custom head sculpts and stuff. And I picked this up, and I'm going to send it to my buddy Alex Pierce Customs to do a paint job and a little head swap on the Scott Steiner custom I have. So I got some some picture perfect Steiner Brother customs. And Sheena, show them the elite we added to our collection this week.
We got Zodiac over
Oh
here.
boy.
Yes. Yep. No. Yes. No.
No.
You know, we talked to our buddy J-Bone, John Swallow, on Coming Down the Aisle a couple weeks ago. He had this figure and he was talking about it. And he said that the two head sculpts were were identical. And I was like, no, I don't think they're identical. I think they're just close because one of them is supposed to be saying yes and one of them is supposed to be saying no. But then I got it and looked at it, and no, they're definitely identical, man. Like, if there's a difference between those two head sculpts, you got to open it up to see them, because in the box,
it's pretty
they look freaking
wild,
identical. Our viewers are watching on YouTube. You can see right now, like, yeah, it's to a T. I don't think there's any difference between the two the two head sculpts. Kind of weird, but either way, cool figure. BTFBB has a ton of gimmicks. Marco, what would you want next? Would you rather have the Disciple or the Booty Man for his next figure?
I mean, being a Booty Man, I think you have to have the the Booty Man as the next as the next elite.
I wonder if Mattel would do the assless pants, man, for the for that. I wonder if that, you know, they're a super PG company. That may be too risque for them, man.
You could, I mean, because it's not, you know, unless you do it backwards, unless you have like the figure, you know, in the box backwards and you see it. Other than that, I mean, I think you can get away with it.
But yeah, I don't know. I want the
Maybe
Disciple.
That's a variant.
I thought the Disciple was very toyetic, you know, with the long blonde hair and the bandana and the big sunglasses and stuff. I always thought that'd make a pretty sweet figure, but yeah, we'll see what they do.
When are they just going to start doing like double-sided window boxes? Like, when's that going to be a thing? You know, where it's like,
so they had that Elite Series 1 through 10 had windows on both sides, and then I want to say, I don't think the later edition Defining Moments did. The early Defining Moments had double-sided windows.
Yeah,
also.
the Defining. Yes, I do remember the
double-sided windows have been done.
It's
just it's not common though. But yeah, I think that could be cool.
We're trying to entice you to open your figures, is I think what the message is here, folks.
I mean, the Booty Man would definitely have to be like a ringside exclusive.
Yeah, for sure. That's even more obscure than the Zodiac, dude.
Yeah, or an SDC or Mattel Creations. Who knows?
Yeah,
we'll see. I mean,
Booty Man let's hear from Extra Cooler before we get into How Many Chicks.
Hey everyone, it's Nick, better known as Extra Cooler. Is there anything better than diving back into the wrestling archives and watching classic matches from the past? Yes, there is. It's doing that with your buddies while cracking jokes and enjoying some ice-cold beverages. If that sounds like fun to you, then be sure to check out my new podcast, The Extra Cooler Show, where each episode, my Survivor Series team and I review an old-school match chosen by you, the listeners. The Extra Cooler Show is available wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to subscribe and follow us for new episodes every other Thursday morning.
It's time for How Many Chicks. This is where we grab one of our 1,000 plus wrestling figures out of the vault, and Sheena gives a live review on air. Sheena, you ready to reveal?
Yep.
All right, for those watching on YouTube, you can see it right now. She's got the she's gave a sneak peek. Sheena didn't see it though. She's got the Undertaker's casket ready to go, and I'll hit the drums, and then Sheena will reveal the figure for this week.
Oh,
and the crowd goes mild.
Basic Austin Theory. Yeah.
This is how you guys know this is how you guys know that this is a straight shoot on what figures we do when we randomly pick one. So yeah, we got Austin Theory. It is his first time in the line, and it is a chase, so that's pretty cool. This is the chase from Basic 118. But yeah, Austin Theory's first figure. Sheena, kind of give us some of your takes on this fig.
I mean, it's not a bad figure. It's just like Austin Theory's kind of, he's not real super exciting as far as figure form. I mean, the head sculpt. I always called
him creative player number 2, man. He's like,
the head scan.
Generic.
Yeah, the head scan looks exactly like him. I think they did a really good job capturing his likeness. But yeah, he's just got some red red tights on. It says all day on the side of his tights, black boots, red knee pads. Like, it's a basic figure. If I was a kid, I probably wouldn't be excited to get an Austin Theory figure, but somebody out there maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, he's dropping an Elite 91 too, so that figure is soon to get bumped, like when Buzz took Woody's place in Toy Story. But that's kind of just the way it goes in the figure game.
Yeah.
Marco, did you add Austin Theory to your collection, or were you holding out for the Elite?
I did not. I'm holding out for the Elite. Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about this. To me, it looks like I said, it looks like somebody that's been erased from WWE history to me. That figure, it looks very similar to that guy. So
you could pass for it if you told it. Take some of the design off the tights. Yeah, you could pass for it.
Yeah,
I don't think so. I don't think so at all.
I mean, I think so.
I think with that ripped up physique, because Austin Theory's obviously got a great physique, but he's not quite that big. And the guy you're referring to, he was pretty ripped up at his peak. Let's get into it.
I mean, it's cool. The coolest thing he ever did was be a disciple for Seth Rollins. So
definitely.
Unfortunately that didn't go anywhere. That had a lot of freaking the potential. So it's just, I'll always wonder what could have happened if AOP had stayed healthy and, Seth had gotten to build his disciple army with Buddy and Austin and everybody. So, RIP to that dream.
I'll go first. I'm going to give it a 2.3. It automatically gets downgraded a little bit for being a basic, but it is a pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty accurate representation. And,
it looks like Austin Theory for sure.
It's decent enough. So 2.3 for me for Austin Theory. Marco, what do you give it?
I'm going to give it a 1.5. I'm going to give it 1.5. Not too excited about it. It just looks like a generic figure. If you didn't know who that, I mean, most people aren't going to know who that is, but yeah, I mean, if you were to walk down a toy aisle and see that, it looks like that belongs in a clearance bin. That figure there.
I'm gonna meet you guys right in the middle. I'm gonna say, or not right in the middle, but I'm gonna say 2. It's again, I think he gets points for capturing his likeness, especially in the face scan. Looks good. It's a good face scan for a basic. It is the chase, so it does have a little more color than its black tights counterpart. So it gets a little bit of an upgrade for that. And considering it's the only Austin Theory that we have so far, the only I think it gets a little bonus bump for that. So 2 is what I'm.
So you give it a 2.0, Sheen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right.
I'm going to give it an NXT 2.0.
Wow. While I'm tallying up the scores, just know you can get that figure. Again, that's the Chase Basic 118 Austin Theory. It's available at Ringside right now for $9 as part of the Cyber Monday sale.
Yeah, so if you still want it after I just bagged on it.
Sorry
to anybody who ordered that during the. I'm sure there's some really hardcore Austin Theory fans out there. So.
Well, I hope they're not listening to this show because Austin Theory has just become the lowest rated figure in the history of How Many Chicks. Since we re-baselined it,
Austin.
Came out to a 1.9 average. The Bray Wyatt pop was a 2.0. So he is
wow.
Yeah, he is beating out the Bray Wyatt pop for being the lowest rated figure.
That's pretty bad
in the history of How Many Chicks. He's a basic, so you can cut him some slack.
Yeah.
But then again, basic Alicia Fox averaged out to a 3.1. So being a basic isn't exactly like a death stroke, but the modern day basics. She
had a lot more accoutrement. You know,
she was basically an elite. Yeah. She had some accessories and she had the same articulation. So. Shout out to Austin Theory, man. At least you got an elite coming up pretty soon to wipe away the bad taste from Basic 118.
Yeah.
Sheen, we got some listener mail for this week?
We sure do.
All right, let's hit it.
All right. Our buddy Rob Regino says, is there a certain fig you would love to see in the Elite 100 series? Seth is our resident, encyclopedic fig master. I'll toss this question to you.
I feel like you need to have something from every era. So I would go Andre the Giant from the 80s. You get a Macho Man in there from the early 90s. You need a Bret from mid 90s. Austin.
Any specific Bret? Oh, that's the only one I'm curious. Is there any specific Bret that you want to see?
So my two most wanted right now are WrestleMania 8 and WrestleMania 9. So either one of those, dealer's choice. I would take one of those. I feel Royal Rumble '94 was probably my most wanted attire, but that needs to be an Ultimate Edition.
That we just
yeah.
watched that, and that attire, oh my gosh, is so good. So
Yeah, that's too good for the Elite line. So WrestleMania 9 or WrestleMania 8 Brett. Again, Andre Amacho, Steve Austin from the Attitude Era. You got to have Cena in there from Ruthless Aggression. Just one, because of how big of a superstar he is, and two, just the impact he's had on Mattel's line. I mean, I'd have to go back and tally it up, but I'm almost positive that he's had the most figures by Mattel out of anybody. And
Yeah, I can
then
see
it's
that.
got to be Roman from the modern era. And to make it special, I would do chases of all 6. I would maybe do.
So you would do six mainline figures and then 6 chases as well.
So I think what I would do, I'd do six of those figures, and then for the chases, I'd have to see how it looks. I'm thinking 2 things. You could do like just clear acrylic versions of them, right? Like Elite 100 and have them all clear. Or you could do like solid gold, or maybe something where it looks like they're like granite. You know what I mean? I think something like that would be like really special for like Elite 100. You have this set of like just straight gold figures. I think that would
that'd be
would
cool.
be pretty
You could
cool.
just make your own slammies.
Yeah, make your own slammy. So, yeah, I think something like that would be pretty neat to really celebrate, because it's such a milestone hitting.
It should be
100
like
series
all
number
gold
1.
packaging too. I think I think that would be cool. Like if they did like some really like gold packaging, that'd be dope.
I was thinking something you could do pretty cool would be like to, obviously you wouldn't be able to do Punk, but basically take Series 1 and just update
Re-release.
it. Because you have MVP, you have Rey Mysterio, you have Undertaker, Edge. And I think that Jeff Hardy was wasn't that like the hardest to, did that ever come?
No,
yeah, so
that released in very limited amounts at the Mattel store in El Segundo, and that was it.
Yeah, so if you do that, but minus Punk, maybe just swap Punk out with someone else like a Roman Reigns or something like that. I think a re-release of the first, just to bring it back full circle and just update everybody, would be pretty cool. But in that same attire, but with the modern, obviously the true effects and all that stuff. I think that'd be pretty cool if they did that.
So the same versions of them, just the updated technology.
Yeah, minus Punk, obviously.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd be here for that. Michael Matande says, "What's everyone's favorite Christmas song?" I'll kick this one off. I have to say, there's so many Christmas songs that I love, but the one that I never get tired of hearing and always just strikes like a warm, fuzzy chord in my heart is "Christmas Time Is Here," the Charlie Brown Christmas song. Like it just, for whatever reason, that one just always just hits me right in the feel spot, gets me in the mood for Christmas. And I never get annoyed hearing it. As someone who's worked in the retail space, like many, many, many holidays, you like eventually you get to where you're like, oh my God, if I hear this freaking Christmas song one more time, I'm gonna just flip this fucking table, So I think like that one though is very calming, very relaxing. So that's my favorite. Marco, you got a favorite Christmas song?
Let me see. There's so many. I'll probably go with This Christmas. We talked about this last week. It was on Friday After Next. If you haven't seen that, it's actually I think like CeeLo actually did like a remake of it, which is actually pretty good too. But that's one of my favorite songs.
Seth?
I'd probably go maybe Christmas, Baby Please Come Home by Darlene Love. That's a pretty good one. It's been a lot of Christmas movies.
That's a good one. Yeah. That one is a good one. All right. We got lots of Christmas themed listener mail this week. So good job, guys. Kevin Eugene says, "Do you have a go-to Christmas movie?" Seth, what's your go-to Christmas movie?
Die Hard. Duh.
Oh God, we won't even get into that debate right now. What about you, Marco?
Oh man, I was gonna say Die Hard too.
Okay, well both of you guys are wrong.
I'm joking. Oh man, let me see.
Come on, Marco, you got to have something. You don't got to think that hard about every. Like, there's something movies that you just got to like look at and be like, this is the best Christmas movie. I watch it every freaking year.
Oh, Scrooged. Then that's it.
All right,
with Bill Murray.
Yeah, mine is. Well, we've talked about Christmas with the Cranks, but outside of that, it's got to be Home Alone. Like Home Alone is just one of those. That, like you got to watch every freaking Christmas. The babyface loves it, and both my kids are really into Home Alone right now. They even like that Repug new Home Alone that's out. That's Home Sweet Home Alone. And Brett's like, "Can I watch Home Alone 3?" Because I guess he's only seen Home Alone 1 and 2, and so he doesn't really know that there's an actual Home Alone 3 with the the one little kid. I can't remember his name, but
with the bowl cut.
Yeah, the bowl cut kid. He calls the Home Sweet Home Alone 3, and it's just, oh boy,
Hey, can we take a
nutty.
second to actually dig in on this Die Hard Christmas movie thing real quick?
No,
I can solve this once and for all. Okay, the movie
I think
we're
we've
running
talked about
short.
this on the show.
It's only an hour long. The movie takes place during first off, it's at Christmas. Takes place during a holiday office party. All right.
Yep.
Christmas music. The soundtrack has Winter Wonderland, Let It Snow, Christmas in Harlan, and Ode to Joy on the soundtrack. John McClane's wife's name is Holly in the movie, right? That's Christmassy. There's presents involved. Santa Claus is in it, and it snows at the end. What more do you want? I don't know how people say Die Hard is not a Christmas movie.
That's the biggest debate every Christmas season.
I know.
Is
well,
Die
I mean, I
Hard
guess on that same premise, you really have to ask yourself, is Home Alone a Christmas movie? Because it's the same kind of concept, right? It's really not a Christmas movie. It's really just like it took place on Christmas like weekend. There's like snow and presents and like Christmas theme. But I will say, when you go back as an adult and watch Home Alone, you notice like everything in that set is like made to look like Christmas. Like I've watched Home Alone so many times at this point. Like all of their carpet is red, their wallpaper is red and green, all of their bedding is red. So they really went all out making this house just like exude Christmas spirit. I think it was like unintentionally, you know what I mean? It was, or I guess subliminally is the word I'm looking for. They tried to make it subliminal, but like if you go back and watch a Home Alone, like notice everything in the McAllister's house is like of the holiday theme. You know what I mean? Like the color scheme and everything. So definitely, I guess it could not be a Christmas movie too. I don't know. Die Hard just does not give me Christmas feels at all. I know that's a big sticking point with a lot of people, but it's not for me,
It's rough.
Yeah. Johnny JB, do y'all have any family traditions for Christmas? My family and I celebrate Christmas Eve with dinner and a family get together. Then we open gifts at midnight. So he's a Christmas Eve gift opener, and then I guess he just like takes it easy and chills on Christmas Day. I don't know. We're still kind of developing our because I had a baby last Christmas, so things were a little bit different. 2 Christmases ago. Yeah. So we're still trying to like come into our own. We don't have any like set traditions.
Yeah.
Before we had kids, we would go to the beach even with Brett, but when we lived in Hawaii, I guess I should say, we went to the beach every Christmas. So we would wake up, do Christmas presents, and then we would go celebrate Christmas at the beach. So that was like our Christmas tradition for like 6 straight years. So yeah, that was that's our longest standing Christmas tradition. Marco, you got anything that you and the fam do?
I was literally going to say the same thing, where it's still like in the early stages of Christmas.
Yeah, when your kids are little, it's just helter skelter. You don't, you try to like make these things really fun, and like try to set up these activities and stuff. And little kids, like they may like it, they may not. So we're not at the stage where we're like, okay, every Christmas Eve we're gonna make gingerbread houses and read, the night before Christmas and all of that. So I hope to be that, because in my heart I'm like a hardcore like Nora Crank, like I love that kind of stuff. But we're not there yet. We don't have any Christmas traditions. Back at the wrestling talk, we got Sam Rosenthal actually coming in with a wrestling question. He says, question 1, when was the first triple threat match, and how can we end the constant booking of it? Why does everybody hate triple threat matches? I know Seth is not a fan of triple threat matches. I don't hate triple threat matches.
I don't hate triple threat matches. I just don't like them in like the main event of big shows. The main event of a big show should be straight up one-on-one. But yeah, it just gives them an out, because you can always triple threat gives you an easy way to do some sort of distraction finish, and you keep people from taking clean losses, right? It keeps people looking strong, because clean losses are what really matter. So when the first one was, I don't know. Our ECW is I don't know when the actual first triple threat match was, but I know ECW really popularized it in the States with the triangle matches and stuff. But they used to do them. ECW did a lot that were elimination rules. So it'd be 3 guys in the match, but when one got pinned, that person would just be out, and then the other 2 would fight. It was WWE that really made the triple threat a thing, where it was first fall is who that ends the match. So, I'd have to fire up the Google machine to figure out what the first triple threat match actually was.
Yeah, I was actually going to say that. So it definitely was ECW that started it. I think it was. Let's see. I want to say they don't have like the names. They just say it was ECW.
Yeah.
I think it was. Let's see. Yeah, no, I forget it. Yeah, we'll figure it out. But when you look up Triple Threat, it'll show Triple Threat like the group in ECW. So be careful of that. It'll just say the first ever Triple Threat was Shane Douglas, Chris Benoit, and Dean Malenko, which obviously wasn't a match. It was the Triple Threat faction essentially. So, but yeah.
All right. And last one, Zach says, who do you think is going to win the Royal Rumble, men and women's? So I'm going to, Seth, who do you think is going to win the men's Rumble?
Brock Lesnar.
All right. Marco, who's going to win the women's Rumble?
I'm going to go Bianca 2 years in a row.
Okay.
Back to back.
Back to back Belair.
Yep.
All right. And that wraps up our listener mail for this week.
Sheena's already got the t-shirt ready to go. All right. That's it for listener mail.
Oh, yeah.
Sheena, remind the listeners where they can find you. Sheena, remind the listeners they can find you guys on social media.
You can find me on Instagram at Chick Foley. Marco running the Twitter machine at Chick Foley Show. Join our Foley fam and join all the fun at chickfoleyshow.com. Now let's get into some trivia. All right. Seth is he's got a streak going.
Already got the record with 2 straight. Now I'm just playing with the house.
He's already got the record.
Yeah.
He's back-to-back heel husband. All right. At the February 1996 In Your House, who managed 1, 2, 3 Kid?
The $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase.
Man, 3-peat. Yeah.
That was in the Crybaby match against Razor Ramon.
Yep.
Nice.
1, 2, 3 Kid got a diaper and a bottle that night.
Yep.
Hell
the
yeah.
MDM.
I want to remind you guys to hit up Ringside Collectibles for the Cyber Monday and Black Friday 2.0 sale. Use code Chick Foley to stack an extra 10%. As promised, we got some special marker requested music for the outro this week. Enjoy Wargames, and we'll talk to you guys next weekend.
Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse.
In my mind, I want you to be free. For all of our friends, would you listen to me? Now hear what I say. We wish you a Merry Christmas to each one of you.